What if I told you that the greatest battle you'll ever fight isn't out there, it's in here, inside your own mind, against thoughts that whisper doubt, that distort reality, that hold you back from the life you're meant to live. It's estimated that 85% of people will struggle with low self-esteem, linked to negative self-talk at some point in their lives. That's not just a statistic, it's a wake-up call. So we have to ask, what's really going on inside our heads? Today, we're diving deep into something that's as challenging as it is transformative. Learning how to silence your negative thoughts. But make no mistake, this isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's not about blind positivity or ignoring hard emotions. It's about taking control, reclaiming your mental space with wisdom and intention. In the world of Stoicism, we find timeless truths, that our thoughts are not harmless whispers. They are loud, commanding voices that shape our happiness or our suffering. The Stoics weren't just ancient thinkers. They were mental warriors, masters of calm in chaos, defenders of rational thought against the tyranny of impulsive emotion. And today, I'll show you how to walk the same path. We'll explore how negative thinking invades our lives and how Stoic philosophy offers tools to conquer it. Because while we can't control everything that happens to us, we can control how we interpret it. And that makes all the difference. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength through this lens." Stoicism becomes more than a philosophy, it becomes a strategy for mental freedom. And if you're skeptical right now, I understand. Challenging your inner critic isn't easy. But if you stay with me, you may unlock something life-changing. This journey might shake some of your assumptions, but it will also open the door to something far greater: personal clarity, inner calm, true power. Before we begin, I invite you to share this video with someone who's walking their own path of growth and reflection. And if you value the insights we're diving into here, I'd be grateful if you'd support our work by subscribing to this channel. Now, let's begin. Negative thinking isn't just an occasional bad mood or fleeting doubt. It's a persistent mental pattern that can impact every part of our lives. How we feel when we wake up, how we treat others, what we believe we're capable of, the choices we make in health, career, and relationships. But what is negative thinking? Really, at its core, it's a pattern of expecting the worst, doubting your own ability, and assuming you're somehow less capable, less worthy, less ready. So why do we fall into this trap? The Stoic philosophers had a powerful answer. They taught that it's not the events themselves that disturb us. It's our interpretation of those events. Epictetus put it clearly. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. This idea is at the heart of our struggle with negative thinking, because it's not the world that constrains us. It's the lens through which we view it. And psychology backs this up. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, took this further. He saw that much of our negativity stems from the unconscious mind parts of ourselves we haven't brought into awareness. He wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. In other words, if you don't confront your hidden beliefs, They will quietly control everything, and you won't even know it. So what do? We start by bringing these inner narratives into the light, by observing them, by questioning them, by choosing to respond with reason, not reflex. And that's where Stoicism meets psychology, in the practice of examining our thoughts and reclaiming our power to choose how we live. We've just uncovered how negative thinking often stems not from reality itself, but from how we interpret it. Now, let's look more closely at how these thoughts impact our daily lives, sometimes more than we realize. When we face a challenge, negative thinking can make us feel like we've already failed before we even begin. It paralyzes us, stopping us from taking the very actions that could lead to success. It's like sitting in a boat, rowing with everything you've got, only to realize you're still anchored to the shore. No matter how hard you push, you're not moving because your mind is holding you back. Stoicism offers us a different path. It teaches us to examine our thoughts with critical awareness and calm logic. To pause and ask, is this thought really true? Is it helpful? Is it serving me or sabotaging me? Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reminded himself to scrutinize his thinking, to let go of irrational or self-defeating ideas. This practice of introspection helps us detach from harmful patterns. It gives us back control over our inner world, so our thoughts no longer control us. But we must also consider the influence of our cultural environment. We live in a world filled with subtle and not so subtle messages telling us we're not enough, not successful enough, not rich enough, not smart enough, not attractive enough. Is it any wonder that negative thoughts find a foothold? These messages plant seeds of doubt and insecurity, seeds that can grow quickly if we're not careful. They creep in, choke our confidence, and leave us questioning our worth. But Stoicism equips us with mental tools to clear those weeds. It teaches us to cultivate a garden of thoughts that are supportive, empowering, and grounded in reason. Today, this is exactly what we're tackling, not just avoiding or dismissing negative thinking, but understanding it, challenging it, and replacing it with thoughts that help us thrive. This approach isn't about emotional avoidance. It's about mental mastery. Because when we master our thoughts, we master our perceptions, and in doing so, we begin to master our lives. As we move forward. Remember this: every thought you choose to nurture, every assumption you decide to challenge, is one step closer to becoming the version of yourself you know you're capable of being. But to do this effectively, we need to look at where these thoughts come from. Understanding the origins of negative thinking is essential, because this isn't just about breaking bad habits. It's about uprooting the deeper forces that shape our mental landscape. Negative thoughts can spring from many places: our childhood environments, past failures, cultural expectations, even a careless comment from someone we trusted. These experiences plant tiny seeds of fear, doubt, and limitation, and over time, those seeds can grow into a default mindset of negativity. Imagine a child constantly told they're not smart enough, or a school system that only rewards perfection. Those messages stick. They become the lens through which that child sees the world and themselves. The ancient philosopher Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Apply that to your mind. And the message is clear. Repeated negative thoughts become habitual. And those habits quietly shape how we see ourselves, often in a diminished light. Our experiences of failure or rejection only make it worse. Each time we fall short or get criticized, it can reinforce that negative inner voice. See, I knew I couldn't do it, and the danger. This belief system can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because we lack ability, but because we start acting in ways that align with our limiting beliefs. Last time, we explored how early experiences, self-doubt, and cultural messages quietly shape our negative thinking. Now, let's go deeper into how fear and unconscious beliefs continue to fuel those patterns, often without us even realizing it. You see, many of us walk through life interpreting events in a way that affirms our worries. But here's the truth. If our thoughts create our reality, then changing how we think can, quite literally, change how we live. Fear plays a major role in this process. It's a deeply human, protective mechanism, but left unchecked, it grows into chronic anxiety, intrusive worry, and catastrophic thinking. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. Each one can cause our mind to leap toward the worst possible outcome, often without evidence, only imagination. But this is where Stoicism offers us a remarkable tool, premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This practice invites us to calmly imagine the worst-case scenario, not to dwell in it, but to lessen its emotional power over us by facing the possibility before it happens. We're no longer blindsided. The fear loses its sharpness, and we realize, even if the worst happens, I can endure it. Carl Jung once warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This insight couldn't be more relevant. Many of our most damaging thoughts don't come from facts. They come from unconscious beliefs shaped long ago by parents, teachers, or media, and absorbed without question, because they live in the shadows of our mind. We rarely challenge them. We act as if they're truth, even when they're not. But the moment we bring these hidden beliefs into awareness, they begin to lose their grip. We regain the power to reshape the thoughts that shape us. And then there's the pressure of the society we live in. In a world that praises constant comparison and glorifies scarcity, we're trained to believe we're always falling short, not rich enough, not successful enough, not perfect enough. This constant measurement against others keeps us trapped in a loop of doubt and dissatisfaction. But again, Stoicism calls us to redirect our gaze, to stop measuring success by external validation, and to focus instead on internal virtues growth. Wisdom, integrity. This inner compass becomes the antidote to the noise. Yes. The roots of negative thinking are tangled and deep-formed by emotion, experience, fear, and culture. But with the combined insights of Stoic philosophy and modern psychology, we can begin to untangle the knots. This work isn't about putting a band-aid on a bad thought. It's about rebuilding our inner dialogue from the ground up. It's about creating a mindset that helps us not just get by but thrive. The Stoics gave us a powerful roadmap. They taught us that our reactions are not dictated by events but by our judgments of those events. And judgments, thankfully, are within our control. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That one sentence holds the key to mental renewal. By seizing control of our thoughts, examining their truth, and aligning them with our higher values, we reclaim our power. We begin to construct a new framework, one built not on fear, but on resilience. Aristotle echoes this beautifully, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And that journey of self-knowledge, it begins with one simple, courageous act, paying attention to the voice inside and deciding which thoughts get to stay. Previously, we uncovered how our deepest thoughts, especially the negative, unconscious, one shape our reality more than we think. Now, let's take that exploration inward and begin a more active process of transformation. Not by suppressing our thoughts, but by truly understanding them. This introspective journey asks us to become our own mental detectives, to examine the beliefs that quietly direct our lives and ask, are these helping me or holding me back? It's not about denying emotion or pretending everything's fine. It's about acknowledging what we feel and understanding why we feel it. Psychologist Carl Jung once said, "What you resist not only persists, it grows in size." This is why Stoicism teaches us not to push negative thoughts away, but to meet them head-on, to observe them, trace their origin, and ask whether they are actually true. Because when left unexamined, these thoughts can linger in the corners of our minds, quietly gaining power and shaping how we show up in the world. But when we bring them into the light, something incredible happens. They start to lose their grip. We become free to choose a different story. Renewing the mind also means actively feeding it with what uplifts us. That might mean reading ancient philosophy that challenges your thinking, or spending time with art that stirs your spirit, or simply sitting in quiet reflection, allowing new insights to rise. These aren't distractions. They're nutrients for the soul. They give us fresh narratives, more empowering ones to replace the tired, limiting stories we've told ourselves. Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living," and that wisdom is central here. By consistently reflecting on our beliefs, by asking whether our daily thoughts align with the life we want to live, we enter into an ongoing process of renewal, not just as an occasional exercise, but as a way of being. Plato, Socrates' student, spoke of the form's ideal versions of truth, beauty, and goodness in much the same way. We can see our mental renewal as a process of aligning with the ideal version of ourselves, the part of us that is wise, strong, compassionate, and undistorted by fear. What does this look like in practice? It could be as simple as beginning each day with a short reflection, a quote from Epictetus that reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Or a Jungian truth like, knowing your shadow is the beginning of freedom. These small moments of intention are the bricks that rebuild the mind. But there's another key piece, our environment. The thoughts we nurture are shaped by what surrounds us, the people we talk to, the places we spend time in, the media we consume. Seneca gave timeless advice: associate with people who are likely to improve you. This means being selective. It means choosing company that challenges you gently, inspires you deeply, and reminds you who you're becoming. Aristotle categorized friendships into three kinds: those of utility, those of pleasure, and the rarest friendships of the good. The highest form of friendship, he said, is built on shared virtue when two people help each other grow not for gain, but for the love of excellence itself. These are the relationships that elevate us. They act like mirrors, reflecting back not just who we are, but who we could be. And when our inner and outer lives begin to align our thoughts, our actions, our relationships' mental renewal stops being a goal. It becomes a lifestyle. As we continue shaping a renewed inner world, one truth becomes clearer: the environment we inhabit mentally, physically, emotionally has a profound influence on what we perceive as real and possible. Plato's timeless allegory of the cave offers a powerful metaphor for this. Imagine people who've spent their entire lives inside a dark cave, staring at a wall. Behind them, a fire casts shadows of objects passing by, and they come to believe these shadows are reality. But then one of them escapes. He steps into the blinding light of the real world, and suddenly everything he thought he knew collapses. He realizes those shadows were just illusions, and now, standing under the open sky, he's able to grasp true knowledge, something far richer and more expansive. This story mirrors our own lives more than we'd like to admit. If we surround ourselves with environments that limit us, full of fear, cynicism, and comparison, we begin to believe that this is all life has to offer. But when we open ourselves to better influences, brighter conversations, deeper ideas, our perspective begins to shift. Like stepping out of the cave, we see that a higher way of thinking is not only possible, it's essential. Carl Jung's insights offer another powerful lens. He proposed the idea of the collective unconscious, a shared psychological framework made up of symbols, stories, and archetypes passed down through generations. These collective memories shape how we view the world and ourselves, often without us even realizing it. Now ask yourself, what stories is your environment feeding you? Are you surrounded by archetypes of fear and failure, or of strength and self-actualization? The people, media, and messages you absorb every day either reinforce old doubts or help forge a more empowered identity. And here's the good news: you get to choose what surrounds you. Cultivating a positive environment doesn't just mean keeping cheerful company. It's about curating your life intentionally to reflect your philosophical commitments and your highest ideals. This might mean choosing books and podcasts that challenge and elevate your thinking, joining communities that uplift rather than criticize, consuming media that informs and inspires instead of media that numbs and distracts, designing your personal spaces, home, work, or digital, to serve as constant reminders of who you are becoming. Even something as simple as maintaining a clean, orderly room can reflect a clean, orderly mind. This is a key Stoic practice. External order mirrors internal order. Decorate your space with symbols that resonate with your values. A quote that grounds you. an object that reminds you of courage, art that speaks to your sense of justice or temperance. Seneca once advised, "Hang on to your youthful enthusiasms, you'll be able to use them better when you're older." Positivity isn't just about keeping spirits high. It's about nurturing passions that are aligned with your highest nature. And when we do this consistently, we don't just uplift ourselves, we become a quiet inspiration to others. We create ripples. We raise standards. We set examples. But remember, understanding alone isn't enough. Even clarity and intention fall short without action. Epictetus said it plainly. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's the Stoic mandate. Don't just think the right thoughts, live them. Don't just admire the virtues, embody them. Every deliberate action, big or small, that aligns with your values becomes a blow against negativity. Wisdom, courage, justice, moderation. These aren't just lofty ideals. They are tools. They are habits. They are daily disciplines. And when we put them into practice, our negative thoughts lose their grip. And as we act in alignment with our values, something extraordinary begins to happen. Our internal narrative changes. We move from seeing ourselves as incapable or unworthy to becoming empowered, self-directed, and resilient. This shift is not accidental. It's earned through action. Aristotle spoke powerfully on this in his Doctrine of the Mean, where virtue isn't simply a mindset, it's a state of character built through habit. He taught that we become just by doing just actions. We become brave by facing fear. And we become temperate by practicing self-restraint. In other words, virtue is not just expressed through action, it's built through it. This is no passive process. It's deliberate, repetitive, intentional. Plato also reinforced this truth with his theory of forms. He proposed that once we truly know the good, it becomes impossible not to do the good. In this view, wisdom isn't abstract. It demands embodiment. And so, when our Stoic principles are more than intellectual ideas, when they shape our actual behavior, we begin to rise toward Plato's vision of the ideal self. Not just thinkers of virtue, but living embodiments of it. Carl Jung takes us even deeper. His concept of individuation, the process of unifying our conscious and unconscious selves, isn't a path paved with contemplation alone. It requires real-life friction. The world must challenge us. Only through these trials are we forced to confront what lies beneath outdated beliefs, hidden fears, subconscious habits, and integrate them into a more whole, powerful self. Jung put it bluntly, you are what you do, not what you say you'll do. It's not the promise, it's the practice. This is the Stoic invitation, not to merely think about virtue, but to live it, to make real choices every day that reflect our philosophical commitments, especially when it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's speaking with grace instead of anger during a tense moment. Maybe it's choosing to finally face a fear you've avoided for years. Maybe it's forgiving someone who never apologized, not because they earned it, but because you need peace. Each of these decisions becomes a brick in the foundation of the person you're becoming. Stoicism also teaches us to view life's challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to practice our values. Every difficulty is a test. Will we respond with courage, patience, justice, or wisdom? Every test is a stage not to perform on, but to train on. In real life, Stoic action might look like setting a small but meaningful daily goal, aligned with your values, volunteering in service of justice or compassion, maintaining journaling or meditation routines to strengthen self-awareness. These aren't grand gestures. They're quiet disciplines, and together they reshape your identity from the inside out. But it's not just our actions that matter. Our words, too, are powerful tools in the Stoic path. Epictetus offered a simple yet profound reminder. First, learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. Speech isn't just a reflection of thought, it's a shaper of thought. What we say reinforces what we believe. It directs what we feel. And so, to speak carelessly is to risk sabotaging the very self we're working to build. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, returned often to this principle, seeking clarity, honesty, and impact in his communication. He understood that speech, like action, must serve truth and virtue. And just as our actions are an expression of virtue, so too should be our words. Every word we speak carries the potential to heal, to harm, to build, or to destroy. That's why the Stoics urged us to season our language with honesty, restraint, and kindness. When we align our speech with the virtues we aim to cultivate, we're not only reinforcing our own discipline, we're also radiating those values outward. Our words become a quiet force for good, shaping the environment and people around us. Aristotle, always a master of communication, broke it down into 3 core pillars: ethos, pathos, and logos. He believed that persuasive, meaningful communication must blend credibility, emotional connection, and logical clarity. We don't just share information when we speak, we shape how people feel, what they believe, and even how they behave. Plato echoed this understanding in his Socratic dialogues. Socrates didn't lecture. He asked questions. He guided others gently but relentlessly toward self-awareness and truth. Plato showed us that well-crafted, intentional dialogue can be transformative. That the right word, asked at the right time, can change a life. Psychologist Carl Jung added yet another layer to this timeless wisdom. He believed that language could act as a bridge between the unconscious and conscious mind. Through conversation, reflection, and journaling, we uncover hidden beliefs, bring them to light, and slowly integrate them into a healthier self-image. And this doesn't just apply to how we speak to others, it's also about how we speak to ourselves. Negative self-talk is one of the most persistent forms of mental sabotage. It creeps in, silently undermining our confidence, fueling fear, and convincing us we're less than we are. But Stoicism offers a cure: mindful, empowering inner dialogue. Positive affirmations, when rooted in virtue and reality, aren't fluff. They're tools. Tools to remind us of what we can control. Tools to reinforce the truth that we are not at the mercy of every emotion or thought that passes through us. By choosing our internal language carefully, we create a stable foundation for resilience. So whether it's the words we say to a friend, the tone we take in a disagreement, or the quiet phrases we repeat in our own minds, the Stoic teaches us Every word matters. Words are not just sounds. They are instruments of transformation. They can distort reality or illuminate it. They can trigger conflict or inspire peace. They can break us or rebuild us. As you continue to walk the Stoic path, remember this. Speak as if your words are bricks. Because with every sentence, you're either building a stronger self or breaking one down. Thank you for joining us on this deeply meaningful exploration of Stoic philosophy. We hope this video offered you clarity, insight, and the tools to live more intentionally. Before you go, if this message resonated with you, we'd love for you to support the journey. Hit like to show your appreciation. Share this video with someone who needs it, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel Stoic Capsule for more thoughtful, empowering content like this. And if you're ready for the next step, don't stop here. Click on the video right here on screen to continue your journey into Stoicism and overcoming adversity. We'll see you there. Stay disciplined, stay grounded, and remember, your highest self is always watching.